Hello everybody, welcome to Technique Tuesday. Today we're going to be making a trifold accordion card. It looks like this. It stands up 3D and it folds flat to fit in a standard envelope. It ends up being 5.5 by 4.25. So mail's flat, stands up, it's got 3 little sections, so I think it looks rather cute. And I will go ahead and show you how to assemble both of them. As always, the directions and the instructions will be in the description box below. So without further ado, let's get ourselves started. It starts with a piece of cardstock, which is cut at 11 by 4.25. That's a pretty standard card base size, but it's scored at 2 3/4, 4 1/4, 7 1/4, and 8 1/2. So we'll just go ahead and get that scored on those lines and give them a nice sharp crease with the bone folder. Making sure they're all lined up. Whoops, a bit rattly loud today. So that's how it ends up, being 5.5 by 4.25, having started out being 11 by 4 1/4. The next part of it is 2 pieces of cardstock, which are 4 by 4 square, because the 4" is the 1/4 inch layer size down from 4 1/4, so that fits on. And then I've taken some designer series paper. This is actually the Dandy Designs, which came in the celebration. And to try and make the most of the paper, but give it a little bit of support with the cardstock behind, this is actually 3 7/8 square, so 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and I've done that twice. So there's 2 4 by 4s, 2 3 7/8 squared, and then we have 2 little banners which were cut out using the stylish shapes, using this one. So we'll go ahead and we'll stamp that next. And then what I did do was, using the Playing in the Rain set and the Playing in the Rain dies, I stamped the little bunny and I stamped the turtle. I coloured them in with the alcohol markers, which there are uses of that in previous videos, but then for the sake of speed, and here's one I made earlier, I went ahead and coloured them and die cut them out. So you just need to do the stamping of the words. So I'm going to use the Balmy Blue ink pad, which matches the cardstock and the designer series paper, of course. And I'm going to use the Best Day stamp set. So it will have, whoops, Happy Birthday on one of the banners. Give that a quick little wash. It will have It's All About You on the other banner. And then we will go ahead and we will put the Wishing You All the Wishes on the last little section. So I suppose technically you could call it the inside. But on the last little section, we'll have Wishing You All the Wishes, and they're all done in the Balmy Blue ink using the Best Day stamp set. And then using one of the stamps from the Playing in the Rain, I'm going to take the flowers and the Memento Black ink, which is the ink I used when I stamped these 2 little guys. So we'll just ink this up and stamp it quickly in the bottom, just to give it a little bit of extra. So we'll close the lid on that. And what I'll do is I will take the alcohol markers. This is the Daffodil Delight, and just colour in the middle of the daisies. It doesn't need a lot of colour, just a little touch. And then we'll use the lightest Old Olive and just quickly brush in the leaves and the stalk, so that just gives it a little bit of character. So we are ready to assemble. It doesn't take a lot, it's pretty much just layering on top of itself. So we'll take the tape runner and attach the two pieces, whoops, of designer series paper to the two pieces of cardstock. And remember, it's just 1/8 of an inch smaller to try and have as much paper showing as possible. So you've just got to remember to just layer it on with a teeny tiny border. And then what we'll do is we'll put it onto the card. And it's always best to put what's basically the inside layer on first, because you can see where you're going without anything being stuck to here. And as we've done before with ZZ folds, we are going to flip it over and then line it up from where this crease mark is to the edge of the card is basically where it's going to cover. But we don't want to put glue on here because it will stick it down to the base. So if you line it up in the middle, so there's an even border around, and then you can see where this fold is. You know, if you put glue up to that point, when you come to attach it the other way on, whoops, it will not stick your card closed, because that would not be fun for the poor person who's trying to open it to see the lovely greeting that you've sent them. So what we're going to do is put this one to the left hand side, and again, you don't want this to stick to here, so we'll use the same principle. So we'll flip it over quickly, line these up with the edges of the blue that's underneath, make sure we've got a nice border, and then as long as we don't exceed where the crease mark is, where the fold is, it should stick nicely. So then when we flip it over, and again, if we just put it an even layer around at the top, and then also line these up as equally as we can, then it's just going to be nice. So the little turtle wants to go in, but not be able to be seen until you've opened the card. So anywhere within where this edge comes to here. So we're just gonna pop them in flat, and then the greeting too also needs to be across. So you don't really need the banner end on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to snip a little piece off. It wasn't very straight, Alyson. And put it on the edge of the designer series paper. Again, I should have just used the 2 seconds and got the paper cutter out, and I would have got a nice clean cut. So I'm going to line it up with the edge of the designer series paper, so that makes the inside, and then when it's closed down you can't see it. And then the bunny and the happy birthday we're going to attach to the front with dimensionals. So put one on each end of the banner, peel off the backing paper quickly, put some on the back of the bunny, and actually for the ears I'm going to snip them in half so they don't stick out. Oh, come on. Peel the backing papers off and pop that one on. So that's the finished card. It's got the nice surprise front, it's got the little extra surprise inside, and then it's got the space for the greeting at the far end. So that's that one. And then I will just quickly show you how I made the other one, because I have it all folded and all the ingredients. So again, it's the 11 by 4 1/4 with all the pieces cut. I've got 2 pieces of the Parakeet Party, which is one of the current in colors. That's the 4 by 4, and then the 3 7/8 is the Rings of Love Designer Series paper. So just quickly pop those on. The only difference, of course, with this one is that it is directional. It has a nap. I don't know if that's a fabric phrase, but you can't just put it any which way. You have to make sure that when you cut the pieces and you put them onto the card, that you bear in mind it has a direction. So we'll pop that there. What I did for this card though, because there's the 4x4, the end is very red and it needs something a little bit lighter. So I went and cut a piece of the Parakeet Party green, and this is 2 1/4 again by the 4. So it's the 1/4 inch layer around from the 4 1/4 card. So we'll pop that in place equally in its little section, and then we'll do the same deal, bearing in mind it has to be the right way up. So we'll flip that one over and line everything up, put the glue on so we know it's not going to stick itself down. And then when we come to attach it, right down, we can line it up with the green that's already on, because we know that's got the border edge already. And then we'll put the front piece on. Again, it needs to be directional, so we'll flip it over, make sure we've got a nice even border around, using the crease fold. Put the adhesive inside that area, so then when we attach it with its nice same border, it's all equal. Then I cut the Poppy Parade plain circle using the circle layering dies, and I cut a scalloped one, and then I just stamped it with the Evening Evergreen, which coordinates with one of the colours in the cardstock. I did the mushrooms and the stalks and the Just For You. And we'll go ahead and we'll attach this with dimensionals. So it just gives it a little bit of a raise and a little bit of depth. Get rid of all the junk out of the working area. Oh my gosh, I've stuck something to myself. And we'll pop that in place. The greeting I put on the original is a really old one because I'm going to send it to one of my friends. This was a hostess set. Back in the day, you knew it was a hostess set because it was purple rubber and on the wood. So very old, but so glad we're friends is a timeless greeting. So that's what that original one says. And that's the card. I think it's really good fun. This one, I didn't actually even put anything in the middle because this paper is just such fun. I thought it could just stand as an extension of the card itself. So that's the 2 Rings of Love. These are the 2 Playing in the Rain cards. Of course, they're just duplicates of each other. If you liked what you've seen, please go ahead and subscribe. If you ring the bell, it will let you know that I've posted another Technique Tuesday. I'm also doing an ABC's Alyson's Beginner Card Making series. So if you know anyone who would like to look at that, please refer them. Referrals are great. Likes are great. Comments I'll always try and reply to. And in the meantime, thanks so much for watching.